Hey everybody, Joy here. Look where I am today. I'm up here. This is my upstairs. You know, I have two quilt rooms. Well, not quilt rooms. I have two craft rooms upstairs in this house. And I have two craft rooms downstairs in this house. So, lots of crafting going on around here. So today I'm up here in my quilt room because I wanted to show you. You said, show us what you're doing. Show us your projects. So you remember my project of the Scarecrow, Mr. Scarecrow. I decided maybe I should go ahead and finish this guy because, you know, before you turn around twice, it's going to be fall again. These years go by so fast. When you get older, the years, I remember sitting in school when I was a kid, sitting at my desk and the clock, there was always a big clock up on the wall, you know, with the black rim around it and white background and the big black hands. And I used to stare at it. And a minute seemed like an hour. Oh, when is this hour ever going to be over? When is the bell going to ring? But it's not like that anymore. It's like I think it's 2 o'clock and it's actually almost time to go fix dinner downstairs. Good grief. Oh, lunch. I just saw my friend Philly. Finally! You noticed on my last video you never heard about Philly, did you? That's because Philly got COVID just before Christmas and she got it bad. And she had the kind of COVID where you just want to sleep all the time. Absolutely no energy. And so she would go in her sewing room and turn on the light and then she'd just turn around and turn the light off and go back to bed. So she just now has gotten to where, you know, she feels like at least getting in the car and going somewhere. So she met me for lunch and then we went to Hobby Lobby, but she was just absolutely worn out. We were only together maybe an hour and a half. And she said, I'm going to go home. And she texted me and she said, I'm home, I'm going to bed, I'm going to take a nap. But I took her Christmas present. And I had some ribbon. I hope I don't have any more of it. But I had some ribbon somewhere in this house that I had brought from my other house. And it had glitter in the middle of it. It was like, oh, maybe 3 inches wide. And it was blue. And then in the middle it had this strip of glitter. Of color. It was a different color and it was all gold glittery stuff. And so I had wrapped that ribbon around the package. I wrapped it around and I tried to tape it to the back of the box that I had her gift in and it just kept coming untaped and it kept coming untaped. And so I got some hot glue or some kind of glue, probably E6000, and I glued that sucker to the back of that wrapped package. So it had tape on it, it had glue on it. And so I gave it to her across the table in the restaurant. And I said, here, Merry Christmas. So she takes it and she tries to open the ribbon. And the ribbon will not open. And so she's pulling the tape and she's pulling the ribbon. And I wasn't noticing at the moment when she was doing it, and neither was she. So she got the present open, and I'll show you a picture. She let me take a picture of her. Maybe it'll show the ribbon in the picture. But she got the package open and put the ribbon aside and the stuffing aside and the box aside and everything. So later, when we were in Hobby Lobby, Philly walked in after I did, and she had glitter all over her boobs. She had glitter on her lips. She had glitter on her chin. She had glitter everywhere. And so obviously, I kept trying to wipe her off. And as I wiped her off, I evidently got it on my face. I tell you, I've been wiping glitter off of me. And my car, oh, what the heck? I think that's a hair in my eyelashes. So I got back in my car later and my Jeep has black seats in it. And I looked over there where I had her gift sitting. It's covered with glitter. If I have any more of that ribbon here, it's going straight in the trash. My goodness, what a mess to give somebody. Thank goodness she liked what was in the box. I'll show you a picture right here. Philly said I could show you. Okay, here Philly is holding up the little zipper pouch I made her. I wish I had her show you the inside. I think I have some pictures I took before I gave this to her. I'll have to check. But she loved her little pouch. You can see it has her name on it. And the inside is lined with the fabric that those roses came off of. And it has a zipper on the top, which I was so excited to get to make. It was so much fun. She really liked that. So last time I saw Philly, I was wearing earrings like you see her wearing there, and she said she really liked them. So I made her some earrings, like my earrings, and I made her a bracelet to go with. So she really loved those too. So those were inside the pouch, or were supposed to be inside the pouch. I think they were wrapped with the glitter bow too, which didn't help the situation. Philly had glitter everywhere. So then guess what else? So Philly and I walk into the front door of Hobby Lobby. And we get a basket and we roll the basket around, and I notice the calendars are there. The calendars are always up by the cash registers, and I need calendars. In fact, I need to get one up here. I bought 2 of them. And we were looking at the calendars and talking, and Philly and I just constantly are laughing. And some lady across the aisle said, "I recognize that laugh. You're that YouTube lady." Oh, so anyway, I met her and she was super nice, and she ended up buying fabric too. She had a whole bunch of fabric. She was back at the fabric cutting table and she told me to go first. So anyway, always a fun day when I'm with Philly. Just laugh and laugh and laugh. And you know, laughter is good. Laughter is very good medicine. The Bible even says so. All right, so let's talk about Mr. Scarecrow. I finished the second leaf. The first leaf is this one, this one, this one, and this one. There was 4 of them. And so that leaf was called the swirling leaf. So then I had to make the second set of leaves. There's 9 of them, and it's called the twirling leaf, okay? So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 twirling leaves. So now I'm getting ready to cut out the fabric that's needed for, what's the next one called? The autumn leaf. And this one has 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. This one has 13 leaves to make. So I'm getting ready to do that up here in this room. And I brought a sewing machine up here, actually. I probably showed you that in another video. I brought one of my sewing machines up here so I can sew the leaves together. I was going downstairs and sewing them and then bringing them back up here. I've got my Solaris up here. My baby lock Solaris. This is a Bernina. That's a baby lock. I do not like the feet that come with the baby lock machine. I just don't like them. I cannot make it sew straight on the line. I cannot make it sew where I want it to sew. Just very unhappy with it for doing this kind of work. Now, you know, as an embroidery machine and sewing seams together, different thing, it works just fine for that. But I've got, you know, I've got a dozen sewing machines, so I can choose, I can pick and choose and use the ones that I enjoy. So insofar as project I'm working on these leaves. Now, there's another project I'm working on downstairs. It started out to be a really beautiful horse panel. And so I'm quilting it, custom quilting it. I'm not doing it with a computer, except for the borders. And I called my friend Jeffrey in California. You know, he's the software expert of the whole wide world of the software that I have. And he's always more than willing to help me. He's just such a sweetheart. And he told me how to do it. I don't think he watches my videos much, so I'm going to tell you this and hope he doesn't see it. So he showed me on the software how to do the borders. It's a panel, and let me see how I can show you best since I'm up here and it's down there. Okay, so say this is a big panel. what are they, 2 foot by 3 foot, maybe 3 foot by a yard. What would that be? 45 inches by, it's probably 45 inches by 36 inches. And it's a panel. So in the middle, play like this is a horse, okay? So there's a beautiful horse, and it's a Christmas horse. And there's snow falling, and the snow is blowing all over the horse. And the horse has this big, gorgeous mane, and he's got a big red bow around his neck. And there's greenery and snow. It's just, oh, it's so pretty. And so around the edges, there's a border that goes all around that's green. Then inside the green border, there's another border that goes all around that's red, okay? And then the horse in the middle. So Jeffrey helped me figure out how to do the 2 borders at the top. He instructed me how to save the border because I'm going to do it on the top, then I'm going to sew the horse, then I'm going to do it on the bottom. So when I get down to the bottom, I need to have saved what I did on the top. Make sense? Yes. And then when I get all done quilting the horse, quilting the top borders, quilting the bottom borders, then you take the quilt off the machine and you turn it around and you pin it back on. Then you do the top borders, now the top, they used to be the sides. Then you do the top borders and the bottom borders for the sides, and then you have the whole quilt quilted, okay? So he helped me do the first top. And he said to me, and he always says, he says, now listen to me, Joy, listen to me. This is very, very important. Now you listen to me and you do what I tell you to do. Yes, he's that bossy, but I don't care. I'm that bossy too. So he said, I'd already figured out the border for the green and the border for the red. And I saved the green border as green border, save. The red border, I said, red border, save. Then each one he said, now I want you to click on this icon, and then click on this icon. Then scroll all the way down of all the information that it's going to show you. And at the very, very, very bottom, there's a number. He said, I want you to write down that number. So the green border had a number and the red border had a number. And so I took one of these and I wrote down red and a number and I put it on my table. And then I took one in a different color and I wrote down green. And I wrote down a number like 0.06 or something like that. And this one was like 0.09 or something. He said, now whatever you do, don't lose those. So then Christmas came. And I wanted my house to be clean and look nice. And I thought, oh, this quilt room's a mess. I need to clean it up. And so while I was dusting, I evidently picked up those 2 things, forgetting what they were, and I threw them in the trash. I know. But before I did that, let me see, what did I do before I did that? Before Christmas, I had already quilted a whole bunch of the horse. It was almost done. The whole horse was almost done. So I decided to do the bottom borders. So I clicked on the inside border, which was the red border. And I clicked on red border so it would come up so I could use it on the bottom. But then something happened. The phone rang or Jerry called me or who knows what happened. And so I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to use this border now. So I looked up at the top of it. There was this X there. And I thought, oh, I'll just hit the X. I'll come back and get it later. Well, the X deleted the entire red border. Totally deleted. It's gone. You can look in there now where I saved it. And it says red border. But there's nothing there. It's blank. Oh, boy, I tell you, when I mess up big time. So then, later, I still had these at that point, and I thought, oh, I still have these numbers. I can just put it in there again because I have these magic numbers, right? Well, so then, like I said, I cleaned, and I throw everything away when I'm cleaning. It's just terrible. And so, they're gone. I was in there yesterday working on it, and I thought, I'm not going to be able to fix this, and I'm too embarrassed to call Jeffrey. So I decided to just rip out the entire top border, the red one. So that's the other project I'm working on. I'm ripping all the way across that panel. This very tightly sewn border. It's rope. He said, that's a horse, you need rope. And so it looks like a rope in the border. And so I'm ripping, you know, seam ripping, stitch after stitch after stitch after stitch. I've spent hours on it. So that's my other project. And I will show that to you when I get it done, probably. It won't have a binding on it yet, but when I get it done, I'll take it off the long arm and I'll show you the horse, okay? But for right now, I'm going to go downstairs and find my husband and see if he'll feel sorry for me, because I had to go all the way to Hobby Lobby to meet Philly, and so I'm obviously way too worn out to fix supper. And the real reason is it's 50 degrees outside and very sunny. And I am just so attracted to the sun. I love the sunshine. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I'd love to go out in the sunshine and go get some dinner somewhere. So that's all I have to show you right now. Tomorrow, I will come up here and start cutting out these leaves. I can't imagine that anybody would care to watch me do that. I know I'm not getting very many people watching me. Which is sad. I've got 28,000 subscribers, but only 2,000 to 4,000 ever watch my videos. So that's kind of depressing. And I'm thinking, well, maybe, you know, they're just totally, I told you the other day, they're probably totally bored. They're probably so sick of watching me sew and quilt. Not to mention there's 500 or more other ladies on YouTube you can watch sew and quilt. That somebody said, show us how you make jewelry. Now, when I make jewelry, I have all new beads. I never even thought about going to thrift shops and buying old necklaces and using them. Never thought about it. But since Christmas, I know 2 sources where they go to rummage sales, craft shows, church things, Goodwills, Salvation Armies, and they buy old jewelry. And then they bring it home and they take it apart and they make new things out of it. So if you're interested in that, there's this lady, she said what her name was in a video today, but I don't remember what she said her name was. I just started watching her about a week ago. And I think if you go to YouTube and you look for Avante, A-V-A-N-T-E, A-V, Victory, A-N-T-E, jewelry, she'll probably come up. And she's got hour-long videos where you can just watch her take jewelry apart and make new jewelry out of the jewelry she takes apart. Okay, if you're interested in that, you can watch that for hours and hours and hours. And you can totally learn how to make jewelry by watching her. I keep forgetting to tell everybody what day it is. I haven't made videos. I've forgotten how to do it, you guys. Let me see. What day is this anyway? This is Tuesday. And it's the day after Monday, and yesterday was the 13th, so this must be the 14th. So today is January 14, 2025, okay? I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll just let you watch me do whatever I'm doing. See you there. Good morning, everybody, on Wednesday, I think it's still morning, 11 a.m. On Wednesday, let me see what day is this, January 15. And I know because I just was talking about a doctor appointment and checking the date on my phone. So I've moved you into my quilting room. This is where my, I almost knocked you over. Oh no, that's all crooked now. I'll have to fix you. Oh my, I gotta remember, I can't move the long arm, and I need to move the long arm because I need it to do what I'm doing. Hold on, let me straighten you up. Okay, I don't really know what I can do much here. It's very, very tight where you are. There's a light, and then there's you, and then there's this gigantic sewing machine, and then there's another light over there, and there's what, 2.5 feet back there, maybe. Green tea, not coffee. I just made it. So evidently, I'm going to have to buy several more of those coffee heater upper things because I don't have one in here, and I don't have one in my sewing room next door, and I don't have one in my jewelry making room. I don't drink coffee, only 1 cup in the morning, and then I can have green tea. So, and then I usually don't do much of that, but I decided since I was going to be in here and it's kind of cool in here, I'd make some hot tea. So I'm not getting another one of those coffee heater upper things, but it was fun to know how many of you already had them before I did. You should have told me about them. Hot is just so good. I only like it a certain hot. When I go to a restaurant, I always tell the waitress I only like it a certain temperature. So please keep coming back to check. And then I always ask them to preheat the mug. I'll say, would you please take that in the kitchen and put some hot water in it and then put the coffee in it, because the coffee will stay hot a whole lot longer in a hot mug, or at least a warm mug. Let me take one more sip and I'll put it down. Very nice. Why is it you make so much noise when you swallow? It drives Cherry crazy. I'm sure I can mute that or cut it out. Okay, so here I am. Here's my horse. You can't see my horse, can you? But he's right here, and he is gorgeous. So I told you yesterday about the 2 borders. There's a green border and there's a red border. And I have been ripping out this red border. Let me tell you something about a panel. Let me get a seam ripper here and some extra glasses. Let me tell you something about a panel. Jeffrey told me that this happens all the time on panels. Panels are a picture that's printed onto white fabric. It's just printed on it, it'll have white all around it. And when you sew on it, when the needle goes through it, it makes white dots everywhere. Everywhere the needle went in, it makes a white dot. I'm hoping that when I get this done, now it didn't do it so much here where I quilted the horse, but here where I'm ripping it out, it didn't do too bad going in. It did make some white dots, but ripping it out, every place I'm removing thread, there's a white dot. You'll probably see it in a minute if I show it to you. So I have removed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pieces of rope. So, for my snippet of this morning, let me see if I can come over here, not knock you over. I turn the machine on for light. It'll see it lit up where I'm at. So then I can come in here, and I like to have the machine because, oh, please don't hit that. The machine has a base right here. You know, like a sewing machine, you know, the needle goes up and down and it has a base. And so I can pick the thread out better if the base is under the thread. So that's how I'm doing it. This is an APQS 14-foot table with a Millennium, APQS Millennium machine on it. I think I bought this one in 2016. And everybody calls this Millie. Their machines all have a name. This one's called Millie because it's a Millennium and they named it Millie. So we all call Millie Millie, everybody that I know. I watch Edita Sitar. You probably do too if you're a quilter. And she has a video every Friday, a live video, where she shows all her new stuff and all the things she wants you to buy. But she quilts her quilts on some kind of long arm. And I want so much to know what long arm she has. So I don't know. I always watch her on TV, and on TV you can't comment. You know, when you're on your computer, you can ask a question in the chat live and they'll answer you. But when I watch her on TV, I can't do that. So, but if anybody knows what quilting machine Edita Sitar at Laundry Basket Quilts has, will you tell me, please? So I just assumed one of you might want to know what one I have. Oh, don't knock over that camera, Joy. So here we go, one by one. Now, usually on a single run of stitches where it just sewed, it's easy to rip out about 5 stitches at a time because you can pull the upper thread and cut the bobbin and then plop about 5 threads out, then cut the bobbin and plop about 5 more out. But this rope that I did is a double. It went around every piece of rope twice. So the pull the bobbin up and cut it isn't working. Oh my goodness. But I'm almost to the end of it. I'm so excited. Because, you know, there was no way I could fix it after I deleted what I saved. Remember I told you yesterday in my snippet? I mean, once you delete it, it's gone. I think next time I'll save it with 2 different names, Red 1 and Red 2 or something, in case I'm so goofy and I hit the wrong X again. You know, Jeffrey, when he's teaching me, he'll always say, hit the X, hit the X. You see that X? Hit that X. Well, I saw the X and I hit it. It was the wrong one. You know, if I use this every day, if I used it as much as I use my sewing machines, I would know it. I would know it like driving a car. But I probably use it 2 or 3 times a year. And there's so much to know. Not so much about the sewing machine. You know, this is a sewing machine. Not so much to know about it, but the software that makes the sewing machine go by itself. There's a bunch to know about that. And most of the tutorials are poorly done. I won't go into great detail on that, but most of the tutorials are very incomplete and poorly done. One of the videos that I watched had dogs barking in it. Oh, I want to say, I want my hundreds of dollars back, please. I didn't pay for this to listen to your dog bark. And you know, some people, probably most of you, my friend Philly, they're so in love with their animals, they don't even hear them bark. Yeah, you see why I don't make videos? It's like, cut that out, cut that out, cut that out. Move the camera, move the lights. Quit making videos altogether. A little girl, Emma, was here the other day. A little girl that used to live here. She said, can I go upstairs? I said, sure, you can go anywhere you want to. I mean, she knows his house better than I know it. She came down and she asked Jerry, what are those funny machines up there in that room? And then, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Her grandma said that they left here that night and they went home and they watched some of my videos. That poor child. She was going to say, do I have to go to Grandma Joy's house? Oh, I always tell kids to call us Grandma Joy and Papa Jerry, even though they are our grandkids. So I was telling her that. I said, oh, you can call me Grandma Joy. And I thought, oh, I hope her real grandma doesn't mind. I thought, well, what if somebody says, well, you're not their grandma, I don't want you calling them that. I thought, well, maybe they could call me Mrs. Joy and Jerry, Mr. Jerry or something. It just doesn't seem right for a kid to call you by your first name, does it? It doesn't to me. You know, like you always call your school teacher Miss Smith, Miss Butler. I had a Mrs. Mowry. Oh, Mrs. Mowry, what a teacher. The teacher did not like me. I told my Mrs. Mowry story in some video. You know, when you make videos for years and years and years, and people will say, you made a video one time where you wore such and such blouse. Can you tell me what video that was? No, I can't. Somebody just did the other day. They said, oh, didn't you make this video? I got one today, and the lady was super, super nice, and wrote me in great detail which video made on what date and what I talked about in it. Thank you. That's what I need. And she said, please show us how you use SureFit Designs, how you copy a design and make it with your SureFit Designs instead of the commercial pattern. So I thought I just did that recently, actually. I just did that recently. I don't know if Philly and I showed you. I think we did show you. My goodness, I'll have to look that up and have the lady look at it, because I think we did that. But she was talking about a certain blouse. This is very tedious, you guys. These are tight stitches, tight. These are probably 15 stitches to an inch. Oh my goodness. And double stitching. I am going to quit doing this here in a second, and I'm going to try to show you close up. Probably knock over cameras and lights. Oh, I was going to tell you, this is an APQS table. Watch this. You can see me bending over. You're going, you shouldn't be bending over like that. Look at this. It might be up already. I don't know. Watch this. Does your table do that? I love this table. It has automatic go up and automatic go down and automatic roll the fabric backwards and automatic roll the fabric forward. It is a wonderful table. In fact, Terry bought the APQS. She could have bought any kind in the world. I taught her how to quilt. And she used my machine for quite a while. And she had a choice of a Gamble or a this kind or any other kind. And she got the APQS. I don't work for APQS. A lot of things I don't even like about APQS. But there's a lot of things I do like about APQS. And one of them is their machines and their tables. One of the things, well, you might as well say what you don't like. I don't like that they don't have good training for the software. They need, what I have to look up is the training for a different software that's the same exact thing as this software, but it has a different name. And the people do tutorials on it, but the tutorials again, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but one of the ladies has one of those voices. I probably have one of those voices too, but it's just the most irritating voice. And it's very hard for me to listen to her. But I wish that there was a software manual. I would pay for them. I did pay for some, but the ones I paid for had the barking dogs. And then it was extremely, extremely difficult to get back in later to watch them. So I have issues, but then again, if I had to do it all over again, I would still get this table and I would still get this long arm because they are really very good. And my friend Jeffrey says they're the best. He's used some of the others and he said, oh my goodness. I'm glad you didn't get that kind. I'm glad you didn't get that kind. There's probably, there's lots of different softwares, and there may be better softwares that have better training, that are easier to learn. I don't know about that, but for this machine, this is a software that I have to use, is my understanding, because it's the one that APQS sells. Well, they're not going to sell anybody else's software for their machines. So, all right, now I have now removed one piece of rope. One piece of rope. Oh my goodness. So, I'll try to show you some of this horse because I know you want to see it. It is so pretty. In fact, the neighbor came over one time and I had the horse just draped here over the front arm of it because I hadn't pinned it on yet. And she said, oh, what a beautiful horse. Now, I can't show you real good because it's pinned. It's pinned to the front leader and it's pinned to the back leader. So I can't show you real good. But I'll show you a little bit. And then when I get it off of here, I'll show it to you all done, okay? All right, so how can we do this? Let me see. I told you it can roll forward and roll back. So I'm going to roll it forward. Look at that. I'm stepping on a pedal, and the quilt is moving towards you. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, he is such a gorgeous horse. I'm going to move it forward enough that you can see this pretty horse. And some of my quilting. Let me see, I'll roll it down a little bit. I think you can sort of see it. Let me grab the camera and bring you around here. Ah, how about that? Can you see him pretty good? Now you can see he's drooping in here. See, he's hanging. It's a panel. You can see he's hanging, so you're not going to see him very good. But you can get the idea of what I'm doing. Isn't he gorgeous? See, he has a big red bow on. I've quilted all the trees. I started out quilting the sky with blue thread. And you can see as I came down, the blue started to show up a lot more. So I changed to clear thread, invisible thread, because look at his gorgeous hair. Oh, and so I've quilted all of his hair with invisible thread. And I've done the rest of him with invisible thread. You know, the best thing about invisible thread is it's invisible. And the worst thing about invisible thread is it's invisible. Oh, down here we've just got the bottom. It just shows part of his legs. So, now you can see the green border and the red border. And up here is what I'm ripping out. See? See the white? See how much white is showing in the red? And I'm hoping if I wet that later, that white will go away. Or maybe I can color it in with a red marker or something. But I'd love to give him to the neighbor because she loved him. But, you know, if you give somebody a gift like that, it makes them feel like they have to give you something. And I don't feel that way at all. I honestly don't. It's like, you love this horse, I'd love to give it to you. And then they think, oh my goodness, what can I give you? It's like, nothing. Give me a bottle of wine that says quilt on it. That's perfect. We're back to Saturday morning again. I'm telling you, these weeks go by so fast. It seems like it should be Tuesday to me. We get to go to church again tomorrow. Love going to church. So you know how I asked you to help me pay for my new cabinet for my entryway. So it came yesterday, and I did my thing and organized, and put lots of stuff in it. I still have a lot of trays left, and I don't have any more stuff I want to put in it right now. So, and there's lots of room still left inside it. So I wanted to show it to you. We bought it at a furniture store here in Tulsa. The furniture store has a weird name. It's called North Carolina Furniture Mart. And I don't know why it's called that. It's not made in North Carolina. I think it's made in Ohio or something. But you go in there and you can pick in a book what you want, or you can pick off the floor what you like, but you can't buy anything off the floor. You have to have it made. So I've waited 12 weeks for this. This was going to be my Christmas present. So Christmas for this item is, what is today? January 17, maybe. I usually get the date wrong, but I'm close. So I'm going to show it to you because you helped me pay for it. So I just wanted to show it to you. Obviously, we need something up above it. Our other house has lots and lots of real pretty pictures. But my other house was built around blue carpet and mauve and cream. And so most of what's there doesn't go on these brown walls. And this wall probably looks yellow or orange or something to you, but it's the color of chocolate milk. It's the color of this wall. So I got a black top on this because we've got the black rug, and the other furniture was bought at the same place, so it's got the same hardware and the same black tops and the same color stain, so it goes with the other furniture that's in this room. Jerry chose these kind of pulls. They had a knob and a knob and a knob, and Jerry said, no, we want these kind of pulls. So it's got 1, 2, 3 drawers on top, and I have everything super organized in these little trays. These trays are really nice. They're more expensive than the ones you buy at Walmart or Target or Lowe's. You know, the little plastic rubbery ones, which would work fine, but I ordered these because they've got the little rubber bumpers on the bottom so they can't scooch around in your drawer. Oh, they're so nice. I really like them. There's 3 sizes. There's this little one. There's this size. There's this size. Then there's this big size. So there's 3 sizes, and I think you get 21, and I ordered 2 of them. So my drawers are just so organized, and they're wonderful. Soft close, soft close, soft close. So nice. Then there's bottom here, and then 2 shelves in the bottom there. So it's like 3 shelves, you understand? So I have them all full. Very, very nice. What I was able to do is totally empty out the closet in here. Because when we actually sell our other house and we move here, we have a closet full of clothes there. We have an RV full of clothes, we have several closets full of clothes. I think I've removed most of the closets in all of the other bedrooms, but our bedroom and then the closet, you know, when people come and you hang their coat in it, that closet has a lot of our stuff in it. So we're going to have to either give most of it away or figure out how to put it in this house. So I've decided to take the closet in here and put all of our hoodies and all of our coats in it. You want me to show you? It's like, not really, Joy, but go ahead. Yes, we're going to buy some real now, if I was the only one living here, there'd be a quilt up here. You know that. There'd be a quilt up here. No second thoughts. But since my husband isn't a quilter and he doesn't want to see 5,000 quilts all over the house, we've got to buy a great big mirror or some pictures or something for up above this. And of course, I'll put some stuff here, but when you buy these, they're brand new. This smells like fresh. It's not paint, it's stained, but oh, it's my favorite smell. The smell of new and clean, it just, oh, I love that smell. The lady that sold it to us, our other furniture, said, don't play dominoes on it for at least 30 days. It needs to sit for 30 days and everything settle. So I'm not going to put any pretty frames or anything on it for a while. So thank you very much. Honestly, I got a really big check that 1 month. It was like $1,200. I've never, ever made that much. So whatever I put out there, I think it was the elastic waist pants or something. And it's the most I've ever made. So I was so excited. I told my husband I was supporting this family now with my videos. Now the next month is like $100, so I guess I didn't work hard enough, you know, the next month. I have another project I'm going to show you, and while the camera's in here, I'm going to tell you about it, okay? Let me rearrange the camera. One of my Christmas presents to myself was these pillows for these couches. Why'd you buy brown couches, Joy? You don't like brown. The reason we bought this color couch is, number one, this is Jerry's movie room, his man cave. But it's really the living room. The reason we bought this color is because we wanted something that matched the floor. The floor isn't going to change. We're not going to paint the floor. We're not going to rip up the floor. And this color is in the floor. So that's why we chose this color. So I was bouncing around looking for things at Christmas time, and these were on Wayfair. And they're called reversible pillows. I don't know what's reversible about them unless you want to show the side with the zipper. But I just loved this trim. The color in this trim is the color of the couch. Jerry said, where did you get those? That color could not be more perfect. So now that I've got some pillows for my couch, I want to make some more. So I ordered some 16-inch pillows. These are 18. The pillows inside are 18, the covers are 18. And at first I brought 2 home from Hobby Lobby, and the ones from Hobby Lobby looked like someone was 9 months pregnant on this side and someone was 2 years pregnant on the other side. They did not look good. I wanted them to be more flat, see, so you could just put them up against the other pillow and it doesn't stick out all over the place. So you know I have a Solaris embroidery machine. You got to embroider something. So I'm going to make one, edit a sitar style, a pillow with applique hearts on it, all blues. And then I'm going to do the other one, dark blue, with cream colored applique wreath on it. So I worked on that yesterday, and you would think, I don't have her heart templates edited. I thought I had them because I made one of her heart quilts, but whatever I did with the leftovers on it must still be at my other house because I can't find it. So I had to come up with my own heart. And I have embroidery software called it used to be called Artista. I don't know if it's still called Artista, but it's Bernina's software, and I have Designer Plus. I have the highest one you can go, and it makes applique. You stick the heart in there, say make it applique, it makes it applique. But I worked on it forever yesterday, trying to figure out how to do 12 hearts and get all of them in one embroidery frame. Well, they're not going to go in one embroidery frame. I don't have an embroidery, and you know how big the embroidery frames are now. I mean, you can put them like over your body, but there's not one big enough to do 14.5 by 14.5 embroidery. I know. So I am going to have to do it in stages to get it on the pillow. So I was at Hobby Lobby the other day with Philly, and I was looking for some fabric to make the pillows out of, and I found some really nice fabric, and it was 40% off. Let me show that to you. So you know Hobby Lobby has a fancy fabric section, like upholstery fabric and drapery fabric. This is just gorgeous. Look at this. Let me get it close so it focuses. Are you focused? This one's gonna have the blue hearts on it. This one's gonna have this color of the embroidered wreath on it. So that's what I'm working on, off and on, because I decided what I want on these couches is blues. At first I thought, oh, I can't use blue because the rug is black. But you can add another color. You don't have to have just one color in your whole house. And I love blues. So we're going to have blue cushions and this color cushion. There'll only be one here, one there, and two on the other couch. But you get the idea. So now I'm going to take you into the scan and cut and show you how when I was upstairs yesterday using my Bernina Designer Plus embroidery software, I found a heart, and I thought, I wonder if the software allows you to send a SVG to the scan and cut. Guess what? It does. I was so excited. So the heart let me export an SVG cut heart to my scan and cut. So let's go find it. Okay, so here we are at the scan and cut. Mine is the model SDX225F. F means for fabric, which makes no sense because you can cut fabric on any of them. But that's what mine is. So let's see if I can find that heart. Remember, I was upstairs and I was on my embroidery software next to my Solaris. I keep that computer next to my Solaris because that's my embroidery machine. But I've got to cut out 12 hearts before I can go up there and make that pillow. And I ordered a yard of each of those fabrics, and they're both very wide. So I'm hoping I can do a practice, and if I mess it up, I can, you know, perfect it. Okay, so let's turn it on to start with. When it turns green, it's on. All right, it says brother. So what we're going to do is we're going to press home. The carriage will move to the initial position. Keep your hands away from the carriage. Well, fine with me. I need my pokey thing. What is this called? A stylus? Okay, fine. It doesn't move hardly at all. I mean, you can't even see it move. So you probably can't see my screen real close. But it says pattern. Over here it says scan. Here it says roll feeder. And here it says region emboss. And over here it says my collection. So I don't ever use any of those other screens. I just now looked at them for the first time ever. I thought, I wonder what that arrow is for. So let's go back to what it opens up at. Now, underneath pattern and scan, there's two little tags, signs, labels, whatever you want to call them. One says retrieve data and one says test. Over here in the corner is a wrench. When you're using your scan and cut, as you go through the different screens, you'll see a lot of wrenches. Click on the wrench and it gives you things you can do underneath the wrench, okay? But we're not going to need the wrench today, I don't think. So what do we want to do? I sent a design down here to this wirelessly from upstairs yesterday. I want to retrieve it. So I'm going to choose retrieve data. And there we are. So now 4 windows come up. And I imagine you can't see these very well at all. I wonder if you could see them better if I turn the lights off. You're just going to have to take my word for it. One window shows the scan and cut. One window shows a cloud and a pocket. One window shows a flash drive. And one window shows a laptop. I sent it wirelessly, so it's going to be in the cloud. So I'm going to click on the cloud. You got to click on it like you mean it. My husband always says, you always push too hard. Push light, Joy. Okay. And what's there? All my hearts. All my hearts are right there. 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. I'm so excited, I can't stand it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sample to start with of fabric. I'm going to use my 12 by 24 great big long sheet. We're cutting fabric now. Now fabric's different than vinyl. When you're cutting fabric, and I suppose that's why this came with an F, is I got the fabric blade with this model. It's gold. Or beige, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of the color of my walls. We're going to take out the black one that cuts vinyl. This one cuts vinyl and it cuts paper. We're going to be cutting fabric, so we're going to put the fabric blade in right there. Alright, so it's ready to cut fabric. Now the next thing is, I've got to go up to my saved leftovers from all the blue quilts I've made of edited sitars. Her blues are just beautiful. And then this is a 4.5 by 4.5 heart. So I'm going to have to find 9. There's 9 of them. I'm going to have to find 9 pieces of fabric because I want them to all be different. Might even make one of them that camel color. I know editor would do that. I've got to find 9 pieces of fabric. I'll do one just any old fabric for a sample. And then I'll roll it through here. And then I'll cut just one of them. Just to see. Just to see for fun and see. This is why my friend Becky has a channel. Everybody knows Becky Thompson at Power Tools with Thread. And she has this thing she does. She calls this part of it Snapplique. Well, she uses some software called Embrilliance to make applique. And it's, the way I look at it, it's like super, super complicated compared to my software. My software, there's a little sign over here that says applique. So you choose the heart, like you would choose anything, choose the object, come over here and push applique. That's it, it's done. I know. Becky used to have that software, and so did Philly, and they both got rid of it. I tell you, that was just wrong. So I'll come back after a while. My pretty horse is still there. I have ripped out almost all of the rope now. I've got maybe 3 left. And then I can go back and work on borders on the horse. But I've got to call my friend Jeffrey before I can do that again, because Jeffrey, you quilters know Jeffrey. Jeffrey Yasenchuk, Yasenchuk, he travels all over the United States teaching the software that I have. And he and I are friends. We've known each other because of YouTube and texting mostly. He came here once in person, so we know each other really well. And he always will help me. He's just so nice to me. I don't know why he's so nice to me, but as long as he is, I'm taking advantage of it. I'll be back. I'm gonna do 1 heart for practice. And I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna applique 1 heart for practice to make sure that it's gonna totally cover the edges of the heart. We'll see how good the software did. So I've got my vinyl mat. I don't use a fabric mat. I don't have a fabric mat. I don't want a fabric mat. You know how many teachers there are out there, a million. There's a lot of scan and cut teachers. They do not do it like I do it. They do it with the fabric side down and they reverse the design. We don't have to reverse a heart, it's the same either way. But I put the sticky stuff on the back. This is something new that I haven't used before called Soft Fuse. I found it up there in my stash. And Jeffrey told me to get it, I think. So I'm trying Soft Fuse. I have Steam-A-Seam Light 2, or Steam-A-Seam 2 Light, and I have Heat and Bond Light. But I found this first, so I'm gonna try it. And I've just got the stabilizer, the stuff that's gonna make it iron on to my pillow. Not me, my pillow is on the back of this. I tore the paper off and now it's sticky and it will iron onto something. So let's see how we do if I remember right. Let's turn this back on. There's my hearts. I'm gonna save those hearts because I'm gonna change it for just 1 heart for this. So I'm gonna save that so I don't lose it. And I'm gonna save it in the scan and cut memory. So I just poked the scan and cut picture. So it's gonna save it in this machine's memory. This machine's memory can't hold a bunch of stuff, but it can hold quite a bit. So it's design 212. And I don't need to remember that because I just know it's the last design and I'll just scan down all the designs and this will show up. Okay? All right, so now you have to put your mat in. And my mats seem to always want to go in sideways these days, so I kind of hold it tight over here on this side. Remember I showed you in my other video? This is the home button, this is the mat button, and this is the stop button. Okay? This, of course, is the on-off button. So I am going to push the mat button and feed this in here. Ah, look, it went in straight. Yay! All right, so it's not going to cut anything. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to stay there. It's been, what do they call it? Sucked in, pushed in, fed in. It's in. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this design here and I'm going to edit it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete every heart except 1. So I'm going to delete that heart. I'm going to hit the trash can. Okay, yes, I want that gone. Yes, I want that one gone. Delete. Okay. Delete. Okay. Delete. Okay, now I saved it with 9 hearts, remember? I saved it, so it's still in there with 9 hearts. But I am going to make it so it's just going to cut out 1 heart right now, because this is practice. Always make a muslin. This is my muslin. Don't remove them all, Joy. All right, delete, 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 delete. Okay. All right, so now I have 1 heart left. And I am going to make that heart cut out of this material right here. Now, how am I going to tell the heart that the material's right here? Watch this. Find the mat. We're in the edit screen here. Right here, there's a picture of a mat. When you click the mat, it will scan the mat. See? Now, I don't know if it knows if I have a 12 by 24 or a 12 by. Let's go back. Let's go back and see what size it thinks it has. Remember I told you there's a wrench everywhere there's a wrench. Well, here's a wrench. Let's click on the wrench. You never know what the wrench is going to do. But this tells you what size mat you have, and it's the wrong one. I need 12 by 12, or it's going to get all frustrated. All right, so now let's go back. Now let's click the mat, and now let's start it. Now it's going to read the mat, and it's going to see where that material is. Yeah. This is the scan part of the scan and cut that is so wonderful. This is the scan. It's called a scan and cut. Now I imagine in the other cutters, I don't have the other cutters, but I imagine that in that case you would just do it in your computer to start with. All right, so see, there's my heart. Can you see? Can you see? Probably not. There's my material, and there's my heart. My heart's off a little bit, so I'm going to click it and I'm going to move it to the middle of this piece of fabric. Remember I told you about this tool and how awesome it is? Look, you can put it down and you can roll. You can roll the design. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Okay, so that's where I want it to cut. I can see this fabric and I can see where the heart is in the middle of the fabric. Or it could be down here, up there, over there, whatever. But since this is almost the sides of the heart, it's kind of in the center. All right, so let's cut this. I hope it works or I'll be so sad. Okay, please select. When you see the please select, that's when you're going to select that you want it to cut. It can do other things besides cut. It can color with markers. It can put rhinestones or something on. There's several other things it can do that I never do. So we're going to do please select, and we're going to choose cut. Now we're not going to choose half cut. Half cut is for vinyl. Fabric, we want it to cut the whole way through because we want that backing to come off with the fabric. So make sure it's not on half cut. So here we go. See the wrench? There's always a wrench somewhere. Let's go to the wrench. Let's tell it we do not want half cut. Half cut, weeding box on. I don't need a weeding box, this is fabric. Half cut off. And there we go. Am I going to cut a test? No, I'm not going to cut a test. I probably should, but I'm not going to. It's kind of loose up there. I probably should put a piece of tape, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to see how good this works because I've got to cut 9 of them. So I want to see if I'm going to have to put a bunch of extra tape or something. Half cuts off, okay. All right, it wants to know if I want to do a test. Oh, I don't know, I don't think I want to do a test. I'll just start and pray it works. Let's start. All right, here we go. You ever watch Courtney Dowdett? If you don't, watch her, All Brands. All Brands, look up All Brands on YouTube. And Courtney Dowdett does all kinds of things on her scan and cut. She could do it in her sleep. She knows it really, really, really good. All right, look at that. It cut perfect. It didn't come off. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, it's going to stick to the board. I don't think so, but let's check it out. Look, look. It's got the fusible on the back. I put the fusible side down. And it peeled off super, super easy. There it is, it's off. Nothing stayed behind. There's nothing left behind. So I don't know why everybody doesn't do it like this, but this is how I do it. So there's my pretty heart. How about that? Oh, how nice. Look, it's got a little point at the bottom. Ah, this actually isn't the heart that I'm going to use. This is what I started with. And I decided that it might be a little difficult for it to applique around this tight point down here. So I actually got a different heart that's more straight on the sides. Straight down. But it wasn't in here. So it was late in the afternoon and time to go fix supper yesterday. So when I found that heart, I evidently didn't send it here yet. So I'm going to go back upstairs. Now that I know it'll cut, and I don't have a problem, I'm going to go back upstairs and I'm going to start over with that heart. And then I'm going to cut out 9 of them. So I'll come back later and show you my progress. Finished cutting. Okay. Get you one of these things. They're wonderful. They're in my store. just want to show you real quick the second heart and what I was talking about, making it more straight on the side so it's easier to applique. So now I have to cut out something to applique it onto to make sure that the edges all cover really nice. So we'll work on that next. Well, at the risk of never getting this video up ever, I'm going to do a quick ending to it. Oh my goodness. I have spent hours and hours and hours and hours because I don't use my embroidery machine very much. And I've made pillows maybe once or twice in my life, way back when. And I didn't really have a problem making the pillow, but I had a problem figuring out what size to make the design to put on the pillow. Now these pillows are supposedly 16 by 16. But when I measure them, they're 14 by 14. I think I said yesterday, maybe, that if you measure them all the way around from seam to seam on the pillow form, you'll get 16 to 16. So I decided to make the applique for this pillow that if, because I didn't have the pillows yet, if the pillow was 16 by 16, that my design should be 14 by 14. Don't you think? Doesn't that make sense to y'all? That if you've got 16 inches wide and you make something 14 to put in the middle of it, that should give you 2 inches all around your design. Doesn't that make sense to you? Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong, I'm wrong, everyone's wrong. I should have made this design 12 inches by 12 inches, and it would look a whole lot better. Then there was the issue of the Solaris and my embroidery software. It was all my fault, 100,000,000% my fault, but you know, you don't know what you're doing wrong until you figure out what you're doing wrong. So I spent a lot of time. Oh well, anyway, let's don't go there. I'm going to show you my finished pillow. I think it's very pretty. I love it. All of the hearts are made with Laundry Basket Quilts blues. They're not all from the same line. I have lots and lots of blues from Laundry Basket Quilts because I love their blues. It looks like the design is as big as the pillow, edge to edge, but it's not. See here, here's the seam, and there's like 1 inch 3/8 all the way around it. So I figure if I just don't tell everybody that walks in the house, which I usually do, and if they say, oh, what a pretty pillow, and I'll say, oh, you just can't believe all the things wrong with it. I'm just going to say, oh, thank you. So now I've got to do the navy blue one. The navy blue one has a wreath on it, and I guarantee you that wreath is going to be 12 inches or less. So I need to go upstairs and start it, and in my next video I'll show you that one. Maybe it'll already be done, I don't know. But right now I can't find the navy blue fabric I bought to make it with. I know. So I'm going to shut this video down. It's been way too long. I think I've been making it for 2 weeks now. What is today anyway? I think today's January 26th. It's a Saturday. So I'll be back sometime. I hope you'll hang around and wait for me like you have nothing else to do in your life. I love y'all. Bye for now.